And hello, everyone. Welcome back to the next episode of Next Round Sports. This is Chris Porter here with my cohorts in crime, Jeff Amos and Caleb Culver. How you doing tonight, gentlemen?
Good.
Doing good.
Got the draft and Copa
Glad to
going.
have everyone back here. We're back ready to go. We just finished up with we're actually broadcasting a day later than we were after Caleb was able to celebrate his pop's birthday yesterday. So we're getting ready to talk about. We've got the NHL Stanley Cup final finally wrapped up. Here in tonight's episode, we'll get into that here first off the docket. We'll also get into Major League Baseball, a big return, the triumphant return of What the F with Jeff here tonight. And then going into a Texas-sized sports gumbo here this evening. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the finale of the Stanley Cup, and with the Florida Panthers able to scrape by 2-1 there in Game 7.
Crazy. And this is the second time this has
Almost
happened
going
in
to
Stanley Cup.
3-3.
Yeah. Well, the second time it's ever gone to a Game 7, I think, by any team that's been down 3-0.
And cheers to Edmonton for giving him that, forcing it all the way to Game 7. But Florida able to hold it off, get the 2-1 win, getting their first ever championship for the franchise, and
taking the Stanley Cup for a dip in the Atlantic Ocean.
They're extremely excited down there for the Panthers. I mean, I believe the Panthers were going to win this when they knocked the Rangers off. I did. I didn't think it would take to 7 games to do it.
Yeah,
but
I mean, we saw like
better.
it was 8-1, I think, in the third game when Connor McDavid, who had just a phenomenal playoff and phenomenal. Our Game 4, yes, you're right, excuse me. Phenomenal playoffs, phenomenal Stanley Cup, but he had 6 points in Game 4 where they finished 8-1. We're like, okay, Edmonton got their game. Now the Panthers can come back and just win this.
It was eerily similar to the Celtics and Mavericks series. Very eerily similar. That you had
even the Wolves
best
and
player
Mavs
on
series.
one side against the best team, but they were able to rally in Game 5. They're in Florida. They were able to win it again in Game 6. They're back at Edmonton and forced that Game 7. And I kept hearing, and I had conversations at the wedding I was at this weekend, because a lot of my wife's family are hockey fans, and they're like, "We're pulling for Edmonton. We're pulling for Edmonton." I go, if they do it, that's amazing. But I go, you look at that team, and that team, to me, is not. I go, no, I know somebody's going to do it. Somebody's going to come back from 3-0 and win it all. So it's going to happen at some point. But I look at Edmonton's team and I go, is that really the team that's going to do it?
Are they good? Surprises, man. Surprises.
I mean, Connor McDavid is that good. He is. He did.
And I mean, they almost tied that up throughout that second, third period. The Panthers goalie, I cannot pronounce his name, so I'm just going to call him goalie. Yeah, Rosky, whatever. Man, phenomenal defense by him during that final period.
Play, just call the alphabet.
Yeah. But, man, phenomenal third period by him to keep those goals out, as well as the rest of the defensive men for the Panthers. That was an onslaught.
As a Panthers fan, I would have had a heart attack watching the end of that game because the Oilers had tons of opportunities in the third period to tie that game. I really don't know how they didn't get at least one of those to drop.
Yeah. Luck of the draw.
And kudos to the Oilers for making this a series. And, when they won 8-1, that's like winning 56-10 in a football game, basically. And then really they handled Florida 5-3 last Tuesday when we were doing the podcast. And then on Friday, they killed Florida. Now, granted, 2 of those goals are empty net goals.
5-1.
But still, Stu Skinner had a heck of a game that game. And then Game 7, it was just a really, really well played game, and Florida
Yeah,
just
it was 1-1 at
barely
the end
got
of the first period, too.
Yeah, Florida just barely got the best of them. I mean, this was a dead even series. To be honest with you, I really don't know how Florida got ahead 3-0. I don't really know how Edmonton was able to
got ahead
win.
3-0 because they were the better team. The Connor
They
McDavid was
were.
a better player.
Sure, and
Yeah,
that's why he won the
winning
Conn Smythe
MVP on the
Trophy. And I think
losing
he
team
deserved to
proves
win.
it, too.
And Connor
He
McDavid
deserved
did,
to win the
he
Conn
won the
Smythe
Conn
Trophy.
Smythe. He did.
Yeah, he won the
He scored.
Conn Smythe.
He scored 45 points in the playoffs.
42.
Most guys do that in a
Close
That's
season.
incredible.
Yeah, no, phenomenal postseason. I think it's like the fourth best postseason on record.
Right
By
around.
guys like Wayne Gretzky and those types of names.
And he didn't come out and accept the award, but the whole time they introduced it right before they did the trophy presentation. All you heard in the crowd, just Florida just booing the entire time. If you go back and listen to the audio, it's
and Gary Bettman was.
I don't blame him for not accepting it.
By the way, the commissioner of the NHL who was presenting the award, he was egging Florida the whole time on that. And the thing is, you couldn't have given that award to Bobrovsky. He gave up too many goals, and the only other guy that you could have given it to on Florida was Ketchuk, but I don't think he wasn't at the level of McDavid.
Well, that's the thing is that
when you got a historic performance, then you've got to give it to performance.
But at the same time, this is the only sport where the MVP trophy is given for the entire playoffs.
Yeah,
and it's not given for the finals MVP.
Yeah, right.
And that's something that's a little different. Which I'm not arguing. Connor McDavid deserved it. He was the best player, hands down. But it's kind of weird that you don't have an actual finals MVP. Who was the best player for the finals? Which I don't think Bobrovsky should have got it anyways, because how many goals he gave up in 4, 5, and 6. I mean, he kind of lost it at that point by giving up the 8, all those goals. But this game 7, now it's something here good for hockey, because hockey is kind of looked at as the 4th top sport in the Big Four. Mainly, it's the Canadian sport. But this game 7 had 7.66 million viewers here for this game 7. The 5th most watched game 7 in the last 60 years.
And that also, too, I think that's the highest highest rated Stanley Cup Finals that did not feature feature an original 16 as well. Because I'm sure the NHL was dreading the fact that, God, we had no original 6 teams going in here. We have Florida and Edmonton. Who the hell is going to watch this? But then game 7, that is incredible. So good for hockey on that.
And for the series averaged 4.17 million viewers, a 59% improvement from last year's finals with Florida and Vegas. So,
and I believe that game 7 was 182% increase from last season. So that is
even if people weren't excited about, okay, it's Florida and Edmonton. Even unless you're a hockey fan and you're like, hey, these are actually really good teams. You're seeing the best player in the game and one of the best teams playing each other. The whole fact of it being a 3-0 lead going to the game 7 and the way that they won, they didn't barely win each of those games. They dominated in those next 3 games. It brought some intrigue to the sport. So people, okay, the NBA finals are over. All we have is baseball, and then we have this left. People were tuning in because, hey, this is the last thing we get to watch besides baseball until football season starts back up again.
Yeah, those that don't know soccer, that is.
Well, that's true. And we're going to get into soccer later. Get your Euro.
But they don't play at night. And I'm not counting Copa America.
You're not? Only the second time the Confeca
in the Premier League starts back up again, you'll get me again.
But yeah, that hadn't happened in 82 years, or at least in the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, where the team came back from 3-0 and 1.
Yep.
In the finals, that is. for an NHL.
And once again, we still have Canada has to wait again another year since 1993. A Canadian team has not won Stanley Cup.
That is unbelievable. They have 7 teams. They're the country of hockey, and they have not yet won in 30 years. That's insane to me.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely,
it's hard
insane.
to believe. It's really hard to believe.
It's hard to pull off.
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
I was thinking like of a scenario like your prison sentence, your crime is like your sentence to however long it takes Canada to
takes Canada to win
a Stanley Cup. A league violation.
Okay. Yeah. Still be in prison.
But that,
well, the odds came out for next year. I only bring this up just because of how interesting I found that there's 2 teams tied for the best odds to win the Stanley Cup next year. Can you name those 2 teams?
Stars and Edmonton.
I'm going to say
Florida. Or are these from different
again.
Conferences, do I have to say?
I'm going to say Florida again, and I'm going to go Stars.
Jeff, you are correct.
Okay.
Where's it at? There you go.
Oh, yay.
I don't have the odds right in front of me. I forgot to write that down. But yes, the Florida Panthers and the Dallas Stars are your leading favorites to win next year's Stanley Cup. So maybe the Stars won't wet the bed and pull the Dallas Cowboys there at the end and actually, go in and finish the job, get to the Stanley Cup.
Right.
I still think probably Dallas would have lost to Florida. They were the better team, but it'd have been nice to see. You just never know.
Really, as I look back and think about that Stars Edmonton series, it was Skinner. They did not have an answer for Skinner.
No.
Skinner really is the reason they won that series. Is he completely shut the Stars out more than anyone else did the entire playoffs. It was just unbelievable what he was doing. Like they just could not get it past him for some reason. So I don't know what deal he made with the devil, but apparently it worked for him. But it only worked to get to the.
And it's not like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's not like the Stars never. The only time, Dallas had a bunch of shots on goal in that game 6. It's just like none of them fell. And then the one thing that I still can't forgive him for is not showing up in game 5 when they lost 3-1 to Edmonton on that Friday. That was a horrible performance. I cannot forgive him for that. And that's when DeBoer went off on Kalishaw. But we talked about that before. But Kalishaw was right, though. But I think the key will be for Dallas is, you want to re-sign Matt Duchene and Chris Tanev. You can't probably sign both of them. I personally would rather have Duchene, but a lot of people would rather have Tanev. So
I'd rather have Duchene.
And so we'll see how
Pavelski's going to be gone. He's retiring.
Yes, he's gone. He's retiring. Yes.
So you're going to have a little freedom with salary there. So. All right. Well, unless you guys got anything else, we'll go ahead and close the door on the 23-24 NHL season.
We'll see you later, Hockey. Mm-hmm. Talk to you in 4 months or 3 months.
Yep. See you then. All right. We're going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back with some Major League Baseball talk here in just a few moments. And welcome back from the break as we're ready to talk about some Texas Rangers baseball. And what is there really to talk about? Rangers getting swept today by the Milwaukee Brewers.
Right after they swept the Royals, you're like, hey, things are looking up. Scherzer's back. Eovaldi's back. Langford's got 2 home runs, including I think a grand slam.
His first ever grand slam. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you're like, hey, things are looking up, and then we get swept by the Brewers.
So this
that is baseball.
This really pisses me off, actually.
Baseball go.
Because, as you said, Caleb, the Rangers had a 4-game winning streak coming into this series. Seattle was starting to slow down a little bit. And then you're thinking, okay, this is a perfect time for the Rangers to get things going again. And then what do? They turn around and get swept by the Brewers. And they could have made at least a dent in the wild card, and they did jack shit like they've done this entire season. The bats once again did not show up, except for one today.
All year.
It still wasn't good enough. And now, look, their bullpen was hanging on by a thread, and now it's god awful as it is, as we knew it was.
Besides Robertson and Yates, they've done their job.
Well, not most of that bullpen. You could say Robertson has done okay, or really good.
Robertson has done well. Yates has done well. Yes, have they had some slip-ups? They have, but outside of those two, no one has really done anything. I'm agreeing with you.
And
I'm not saying the entire bullpen is shit.
Now, at least the Brewers do lead the Central and look like one of the better teams of the NL, but getting swept, just no business doing that, especially when you're already 3 back of the Astros. And then, 7 to Seattle.
7.5
in the standings. 7.5, true.
And you're 6 behind the last wild card spot right now. Now,
right.
Like I said, I figured they'd have to win this division in order to get it, because I don't see them getting the wild card.
The offense has
been back still the wild card.
The offense has been atrocious, but the offense has been down across the entire league this year.
That's true.
So yes, it's easy to sit there and throw it down, and I'm definitely not giving them any passes because they have sucked offensively. But so has the entire league. The entire league has sucked offensively this year. But I'm not giving them a pass by any means.
Right.
But it's not just the Rangers who are sucking. When it comes
it's crazy how dismal this offense has been after what it was last year. And you bring back pretty much everybody and then add in all-star rookie Wyatt Langford.
So
we knew we'd have trouble coming out, but
yeah, we talked about that. And is this showing
talked about him.
Is this showing how that it was smart by Chris Young and the rest of the brass to not pay Adolis Garcia? Because he has not, at least to this point in the season, we're getting near the halfway point. He hasn't done, I mean, even last year, he got hot there at the end of the season when he really started smacking the hell out of the ball. So was it the right move?
You can argue that. I mean, it was obviously the right move not paying him for basically like a year and a half production. So, I mean, I was happy with them not paying. I was like, let's see one more year.
Well, I mean, we all do Adolis, so it's going to come back to reality. Just an issue of pay for what he did for you. I know that's not how sports work, but to me, the Rangers could have done a solid and paid him for what he did for the franchise and what he did for getting the World Series. We all knew Adolis, so it's going to come down to reality.
They can still do that for him because, barring unless they decide that they're going on a selling spree, they can still end up giving him, at the end of the contract, giving a big signing bonus and pay him. So they can still take care of him.
Right.
And still, with what he's made so far in his career, is much better than a lot of other people do in their lifetime. So I think he's going to be okay.
Oh, sure. He'll be fine. It's just that there's been tons of players that have made hundreds of millions of dollars that didn't deserve it either. That done a lot less than Adolis, but
Yeah.
I mean, he's had a shitty year, and it was going to yes, and
who has made more money in football than Tom Brady as far as player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 100% he has it. But now Tom Brady's getting paid like $37.5 million a year to sit.
Yeah, sit and look pretty.
Time, but he's gonna suck. He's gonna suck hard. This is gonna be painful. Oh, this is gonna be painful. He's gonna be completely awkward when he comes up on the microphone.
Tom Brady.
I don't know the roast.
He asked Greg Olson for tips. The guy whose job you stole, you ask him for tips of how to do better, and then he's been using AI to help prepare himself. Okay, maybe that's a new way of looking at things or whatever, but I think he's going to be stiff. I think he's going to be, almost emotionless. It's not going to be. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good at all. I think he's going to be worse than Jason Witten.
Oh, that's.
I'm saying it right now. I'm saying it right now. He's going to be worse than Jason Witten.
That is going pretty extreme right there.
Well, I love Jason Witten, but he was terrible. He was not good. Not good at all.
He's going to be premiering in the Browns-Cowboys game.
He is, and it's going to be terrible. You heard it here first. Maybe second. I've heard it a few other places. I don't think he's going to be good, so I'm not first in that, but I fully believe he's going to be bad. Anyways, we're getting diverted. We're talking baseball right now.
No, we are talking baseball, and to me, the Yankees are the best team right now. They're in the
technically the Phillies are the best team right now.
I know, based on record.
That's hard to argue either one. Yeah,
based on record, but to me, I just think the Yankees with their lineup of Volpe, Torres, Verdugo, Judge, Soto,
and without Garrett Cole too.
Yeah, and Garrett Cole is going to come back.
He just got lit up by the Mets.
Yeah, but it's his first day back.
4 home runs, no strikeouts. It is his first day back, but it is notable that he got lit up by the Mets.
Yeah.
True. And so I think that'll be the key. Or Cole comes back fully healthy, which I anticipate that he will. However, the Yankees starting pitching hasn't been flawless by any means. I still think they have a lot of, I wouldn't say holes in their rotation, but I think they could use another starter for sure. Because
of course they could use another starter. I mean,
most teams
everybody could, except for the Rangers. If they got everyone back, they don't need another starter at that point. But
yeah, and I think too. I mean,
that's not the Rangers' problem right now.
Right. And then obviously you mentioned the Phillies, and Bryce Harper is having an MVP caliber year, and you all talking about a great staff.
He's got his warm up now. He's got his own version of it now that he's doing. So.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Another reason to hate Bryce Harper.
I kind of like him more now. I like him now. I like him more now. I appreciate it. I wish I could record onto my soundboard here because I put the Hawk Tua on there.
Yep.
We've had. I'm so sick of Hawk Tua, girl. I don't know.
Oh, it's staying. It's staying. That's the new summer. That's the new ring.
That's the summer one. Yeah.
Hawk Tua 24.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He has united the nation.
No, absolutely not.
It even appeared on the Pat
not
McAfee
united.
show.
She did?
Well, she didn't appear, but she got brought up by him and Kenny Chesney when they were doing their interview.
That's crazy.
Maybe she needs to go hawk 2 on the Rangers. They'll wake up.
Maybe. Get the mariachi band to play Creed again. Take me higher.
That was good. That was good. I heard that. That was really good.
But one thing I wanted to say, though, about the Rangers real quick, though, is I am very scared for their series this weekend. 4 games in Baltimore. Just for the love of God, if you could somehow split that series, take it every single day of the week.
Well, they're doing what that even as bad as the Bats have been, they have been playing down to people and playing up to people. I think it'll be a good series. It's going to be one to watch.
The sad thing is only one game is going to be on national television of that game or that series, if I remember right.
It was on
okay,
on ESPN today. There was a story that they shook up the lineup, trying to get things moving along, and basically, from what I read in the story, is that they sent Duran down to Round Rock and called up Derek Hill, who went 1 for 4 in today's game. So, big shakeup. I mean, they activated some people off the injured reserve, but they made it sound like, hey, there's a lot of things going on there. But all they did was bring Derek Hill up and send Duran down.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Rangers' motto. Like I said, they just kind of dick around usually and try to make a lot of hot air sound like it's news. It's like,
there's also been a lot of talk that they're not going to be involved in any trades coming up to the trade deadline. But
yeah, that wouldn't surprise me if they're not traders.
Well, exactly, it wouldn't surprise me. But I think that's a little bit of maybe a little smoke show. I think if they have an opportunity that they can bring in another bat, that they will probably take advantage of it.
Maybe, or you get the right offer for Garcia finally. So I say, don't forget this guy is like 34, 33 years old.
Oh, no, I know exactly how old he is. And that's why, as much as I like him, I hate that he peaked so late in his career. If he would have done what he did last year, like 5 years ago, he would have got the contract that he wants now. He would have got it easily.
Yeah, although he probably wouldn't be on the Rangers if he had, but yeah.
No, he wouldn't be. But, I've always liked him. I've always been a fan of his. He's my son's favorite player, but you don't pay a guy that age the money that he wants. You just can't do that.
Right.
And I agree. You need to give something. You need to take care of the guy, which is I'm for. If you gave him a 1-year deal and you paid him, a crazy amount for the 1-year deal, basically saying, "Hey, this is basically your severance pay. Thank you for what you did for us." Right. But we're only giving you a 1-year deal, but we're going to pay you very, very handsomely in it and give you like a lot of, take care of you. I get it. But you don't give him a multi-year deal.
Nah, I understand. Yeah. At least not more than 2, I'd say. Maybe 3 would be your limit. I think
that's what I got 2 years, $14 million.
If you gave him 4 years, 4 years, even 3 years ago, he would have done that. 3 years ago. And I would have gave him a 3-4 year deal at that point. Maybe a 5-year deal with a 5th-year option. That's okay. I'm good with it. But as old as he is now,
yeah,
you can't do
it.
You can't do
it's
it.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. It's unfortunate. You peaked at the wrong time. Sorry, it happens.
Well, ha to the Cardinals that got rid of him.
F the Cardinals. I'm still pissed off about them applauding games in the 6th inning. That give him a standing O. That was absurd. I had a conversation with Les Cousins, one of them who's a Cardinal fan, about how weak that was.
Seriously, what the fuck are they doing?
Okay, and okay, if a visiting team comes in and the guy throws a no hitter or throws a complete game, okay, I will give you a standing ovation at that point because that's impressive. That's something worthy. But just because the guy went 6 innings, F you. No. I'm going to boo you and probably throw a hot dog at you.
As you should.
And why are Cardinals fans doing that?
Because they think they're better than everyone else and they know baseball better than everyone else and they're freaking dumb. Screw Cardinals fans.
So
they
stupid.
Suck. They're terrible. I'm sorry. No, you were dumb, terrible fans. You don't give someone a standing O, especially of the opposing team, when they've shut you out for 6 innings and then they get pulled. No, stop it. Oh, we know baseball better than everyone else. We know what a great performance this was. It was 6 innings and he shut out your team. No, you need to be booing him.
Yes.
Right.
Absurd. And one of my wife's cousins, who is a Cardinal fan, I asked him, I said, how do you feel about the rest of your fellow fan base after this game that happened? And he goes, it's a complete, utter embarrassment.
Good. At least he fucking gets it.
Oh, he knows. He knows. He's not one of those ones that, oh, yeah, we know baseball here in St. Louis. We know baseball. We're a baseball town.
I hate those douche nozzles. Fuck
no, they're a bunch of pretentious pricks.
Hell yeah.
Screw you, Cardinals.
Yeah, that's one thing we can agree on. Fuck you, Cardinals.
All right. Any other baseball nuggets you guys want to throw out into this section?
The Nationals are hanging on by a thread. We are only 3.5 games out of the wild card.
I did see that today. Rangers old Jerks and Profar got a grand slam against the Nationals.
Yes,
just slowly heating up a little bit.
Yes, I was following the game the other day, and in fact did see that. So thank you for
actually. It was 5 innings after they got into a little scruff.
That was on Tuesday night, and there was a big confrontation with the whole team.
And just clearing. How are you gonna let the Padres do that to you, man? I just need to know, how are you gonna let the Padres do that to you? We, as much trash as we've talked about the Padres on this podcast, how are you gonna let them do that to you?
Because we're a shitty team right now. We have shitty series.
You were just pumping them up just a minute ago.
Well, I'm done pumping them up. I pumped them up for a minute, and I'm done pumping them up.
All right. Well, we'll take a break here from MLB, and we'll be back here with a moment with the triumphant return of everyone's favorite segment, What the F, with Jeff. Be back in just a moment. What the f? And welcome back from the break. It's now time. Everyone's been waiting for it for so long. What the F with Jeff? So, Jeff, what the F?
What's great?
It's been a while, gentlemen, hasn't it? What the F with Jeff has taken a little bit of a back seat. A little bit of a hiatus. But, when we're on the dog days of summer, trying to talk about things.
Sometimes feels like 115 in Texas.
Yes, it feels like 115 in Texas, and you're inside. All you're doing is just thinking about things and thoughts to yourself. Well, one came to my head this afternoon. The NBA draft, arguably the least anticipated, the least hyped draft of all time, is tonight. And I saw where it was on a Wednesday. I'm like, they moved it up today. Interesting, whatever. Yeah. I don't really care anyway. But then I saw where one round is tonight and the second round is tomorrow night. And I asked myself, what the F? Why? Why is this happening? There's no reason why this is happening. They have always have fit this in within one night, and it ends shortly after midnight of Eastern time, and everything goes okay. It is okay. But for whatever reason, they want to make sure these are two separate nights for this starting this draft specifically.
I'll tell you exactly.
I think Porter's got an interesting idea why.
I can tell you why they started doing this. Is Adam Silver's trying to?
I wonder why.
Porter's trying to tell you.
Trying to do it the way the NFL does it. The NFL has each, first round one day, the second round the next day, then all the other rounds.
It's
after
more
that.
TV money that way if they spread it out.
It is. But the thing is unlike the NFL, in the NBA, after pick number 8, nobody cares. No one cares. The NBA is praying. What the draft is going on right now is praying that Bronny James doesn't get drafted at the end of the first round, because if he does, they have nothing to keep any interest in tomorrow's. Because I can tell you right now,
if you are an NBA executive or somebody, it doesn't matter.
Because after the number 8 pick, you're picking someone who's going to be on your G League team and a project.
Absolutely.
That's it. You're not getting a starter. You're not getting an all-star. If you do, there are a few that have come up. Tony Parker was drafted in the second round. Yes, people will say that you're picking the second round. Tony Parker was taking the second round.
was Joker.
Okay, name other people.
Joker.
Yes, there's 2. Can you name more than that? How many people on the second round?
Their excuse is they don't want to have Jokic being drafted or the next Jokic being drafted during the Taco Bell commercial. I mean, shit happens.
Yeah.
This is the way late round picks are made.
It's because the NBA draft is the biggest draft out of all the drafts. That's why nobody watches it.
Could the next Tom Brady be picked during a McDonald's commercial? Sure.
If the NBA draft if they want legitimacy, they don't need to have a day 1 and day 2. What they need to do is let it go by record like every other league goes through, instead of doing this rigged lottery where you obviously you can have the worst record and you're going to get the 5th pick. It's absurd.
Patrick Ewing.
It's had way too many times. I don't trust the lottery for anything. I think it's all completely rigged. Get rid of the lottery. Unless, if they want to keep the lottery, then they need to have it right there with the balls put in with the team's logo on it, to where it shows up and everyone sees it pop out so you can see who got it. Doing it behind closed doors is completely rigged. You can't argue me other than that. If it's not rigged, put it out in front for everyone to see. Other than that, let it go by the record like every other damn sport does.
Yeah. And then the next question is this all about Bronny? Is this all about Bronny getting exposure?
I don't think it's about Bronny, because the fact that Bronny could get drafted, they don't want Bronny to get drafted in the first round. So that
I know, but they know he won't get drafted in the first round.
I think that they did it this year because they believe Bronny will get drafted in the second round and people will watch it because it's LeBron's kid. So they're going to watch it for that, and they're going to try to bank on that and build this into, we actually can do 2 days in a row. You want to see these players that are coming out in the second round because you might have that happen. Yeah, so this is going to blow up in Adam Silver's face. This is not going to work. I mean, he thinks it's going to work because he thinks that the NBA is on par with the NFL and they can actually handle this. But that's the thing, is that no one cares. You know what people care less about the NBA draft? The NHL draft. Because no one knows who the fuck any of these people are. Just like people don't know anyone after probably pick number 8 of the NBA draft. They don't know who the fuck they are. They have no idea. And especially,
it's rare.
I'll tell you right now.
Especially when the draft is this week. It's a weird
interest.
draft to pick it because, like you said, this is a
9
draft too.
9.5 out of 10 NBA fans don't know who the fuck the international players are. Like we had the top 2 players from France.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee it. Only 0.5%, 0.5 out of 10 people knew who these players were.
Yeah.
And if you want to look back,
and that's being generous. That's being generous.
Look back. Think about, and I'll give credit to. I was listening to Sean and RJ this morning, so I'll give credit to them for this. But if you look back at all the NBA drafts, the first overall pick, when was the last time you weren't really sure who it was and didn't really know who it was? And when you go back to it, it was Andrew Bargnani. I mispronounced his name. Back in,
it was Anthony Edwards with the Cavaliers surprised the fuck out of everybody.
Sure, it surprised everyone, but people at least had heard of it.
Bennett, yeah, excuse me.
Bargnani,
yeah, you're right, Bennett.
For the Knicks. No, it was for Toronto. Toronto when they had that pick. I think that was in 2000.
All right, Andrea Bargnani. Is that who we're talking about?
Yes. Was that 2003?
No, LeBron was 03. I would say Bargnani was maybe 07. Let me double check that.
Or 7.
06 for Bargnani.
06. I mean, I remember that. I didn't, of course, remember the year, but I remember him getting picked by Toronto going, who the hell is this?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you that the exact same thing about this year's #1 draft pick. I've never heard his name before in my life.
Zachary Ricochet.
Never heard of it. Never heard of her.
And we may never hear of him or Alex Sarr. We don't know.
Yeah. Very true.
And then they're going to make this a 2-night event. Again, this is a joke.
It's dumb. It is.
What's a worse idea? What's a worse idea, this or the play-in or the
they're both bad. And I've given Adam Silver credit. Hey, you're trying something. But this, at least with the in-season tournament, you tried something that at least got something, at least a little bit of media. This is going to do nothing but rain down brimstone and fire all over Adam Silver because I will tell you right now, the WNBA will get better ratings than tomorrow's draft.
This year, especially with the Caitlin Clark draft class.
Yeah. I'd say so.
I'm not saying the WNBA draft. I'm just saying the WNBA game is going to get better ratings tomorrow than the second round of the NBA draft. That's going to happen. A WNBA game tonight will probably have better ratings than what the day one NBA draft will get.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was about to say it could be better than round 1 tonight because I don't know if anyone cut this on, everyone's going to be like, who the fuck are these guys?
Mm-hmm.
And the only ones that you would know would perhaps
or it's like you see who the first round or maybe the first 3 picks are and you go to the next shit.
I mean,
it's not like
the NFL where a second round pick come
in, where you count on a second round pick to come in and actually fill a quality position on your team. That's not what it is anymore. If you get lucky in the second round, you get a 3-point specialist or a defensive specialist guy to come off.
I think we got a Marquise Daniels for the Mavericks for a while, who was a good player for us in the second round.
And Josh Howard came out together. And they played well for a couple of years, but after that fallout there in 07, they both were done.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Very true.
I was a big fan of Marquise Daniels. I really liked him.
Him and I were both. I liked him.
And I remember watching him when I was in junior high school, playing at Auburn. But again, that's when college players actually played for a decent amount of time. That's another thing about the NBA draft now is that, you may recognize some of these guys from college, but with the exception of Edey, all these guys play a year at the most. I mean,
a year or two, give or take. Yeah.
Reed Shepherd.
It's been up for so long now, though.
I mean, Stephen Castle from UConn,
Oh, no,
one
it
and
has,
done.
but-
Klingon did 2 years, but yeah, that's just the way it is now. One and
Yeah.
done's the culture in college usually, if you have any kind of talent level.
And
But still, March Madness is great, even without the one and dones,
no, it still is.
or even with the one and dones, I should say.
I will say, I think that the story of the night, though, for the NBA draft is Dalton Connect falling to 17 when
Very
he's
true.
supposed to be a top half lottery pick. But
Going to the Lakers.
correct. But I think my main what the F is, since when did the NBA care about an event spilling into midnight? Now they're going to use that as an excuse. Yeah, playoff games that start on 10:45 on the East Coast.
Now, that's
You're
not
gonna
what
make
it
me
is.
stay
This
up
is,
for the Mavs game.
this is Adam Silver's hubris. And it's going to come home to roost after the ratings tomorrow.
And then
Probable.
what's really crazy too is that he has Joe Dumars saying quotes for him now, saying that the NBA teams didn't have enough time in between second round picks. It's like
Joe
bullshit.
Dumars is a bootlicker. That's what he is.
Of course, that's what he. Of course he.
He's been
is.
licking Adam Silver's boots the entire time just so he can. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
What
exactly.
He's a bootlicker. I call him a slave, but call him a bootlicker. That's what he is, a bootlicker.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean,
Same thing with Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, he's just doing. I mean, Dumars is just doing whatever Adam Silver tells him to do. So
Exactly. That's why I think he's a terrible representative of the players' union.
Yeah. So, and then Dumars. Yeah, he's just saying, no, they need more time between picks. No, they don't. These are just flyers that they take in the second round.
Mm-hmm. You're hoping you get a G League prospect out of this. You're hoping you get a guy that sits at the end of the fucking bench. That's all you can hope.
Yeah.
I want Jokic at 41 during a Taco Bell commercial.
Don't we all?
That's not happening again. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap that up then. Another good episode of What the F with Jeff, and we'll take a quick break and be right back with the Sports Gumbo.
That's good. That's good. Man, that's good. That's what you call gumbo. Poor man gumbo.
And welcome back from the break as we're back ready for the Sports Gumbo. We're going to hit a pretty big gumbo here tonight. We had to get the extra large pot out for this one. We're going to go ahead and start off with Jeff. And Jeff, I know you had a few topics you wanted to get into here.
So I'll start off with the most recent, and that'll be the Euro 2024 round of 16 is set. It is a very exciting day today in the Euro 2024. What I've never seen before is Group E, which contained Romania, Belgium, Slovakia, Ukraine, all finished with 4 points.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so 3 of the teams get to go. 1 has to go home, and unfortunately, that was Ukraine. I felt awful for Ukraine, even though I was cheering for Belgium because I had an extra
especially in that last game
on Belgium, but because Belgium looked absolutely terrible throughout the group stage, but they get to go on based on goal differential. And then Georgia played Portugal today and won 2-0 when Portugal had nothing to play for.
What an
And
upset.
Portugal still wins the group, but Georgia gets to advance. And so just the two over the weekend are Italy and Switzerland, Germany and Denmark, and Belgium and France on Monday. But with the exception of that, and Caleb, you can chime in on this as well, I'm really not too incredibly entertained by the Euro round of 16 matches.
Yeah, I mean, I think it had like its big matches were early on, like your Spain and Italy and your France and Netherlands. Like these were earlier matches, and then you kind of knew where people were as the tournament went on. You do have some interesting stuff too, like you said. You got Austria coming out of the group with France and Netherlands in it. That's rare. I mean, the Swiss, for their part, almost beat Germany, hanging on by a thread. A header with like a minute left in stoppage time to finally tie that Germany-Switzerland game. So, I mean, just amazing game by those two guys, an amazing tournament. Surprising team to me, too, though, was Hungary, how bad they did. Now, they did have a guard, unfortunately, tear his ACL. He's out for the tournament now, and the unfortunate injury let me look this guy's name up again, Varga. Unfortunately, broke his face when he ran into the goalkeeper in their game against Scotland. So them Scots.
That was brutal, by the way.
Yeah, it was. And there was some initial debate on doctors not getting out there in time, but they were saying they were out there in like 15, 30 seconds. So, I mean, obviously, it seems like they got out there in time, but it wouldn't surprise me, honestly, if the doctors were late. Because, I mean, soccer guys are falling all over the floor all the time.
And how many times
it's a serious injury or not? And
I
people
know,
aren't going to call
many,
the culture out because they want to call the doctors out or some shit.
Exactly. But, and how many times do you see a stretcher come out even when it's a non-serious situation? But with Varga, when he had broken bones in your face and they like cover you up like you're dead, it's a very scary situation.
It is very, very long stoppage time situation, but luckily he got into the hospital. He's going to be fine, supposedly discharged this Wednesday, I believe, but he's obviously done for the tournament too. But yeah, overall I'm excited for some of these upcomings.
But do we anticipate any kind of, I don't, to be honest with you, see any kind of upsets in the round of 16? Caleb, do you see anything? Or Chris, do you see anything?
I got one, obviously, off the top of my head. I'm taking Switzerland over Italy. I'm taking Switzerland over Italy is what's going to happen.
That would be my top upset as well.
Yeah, that'd be the most likely one. But yeah, the rest of them. Although I can see Belgium taking down France because they've looked lethargic, and Mbappe only scored on a penalty kick with his Ninja Turtle mask that he's wearing.
I'll say this: Belgium has looked like total shit, but France has looked like they haven't looked amazing either.
Agreed.
So to say that France has been played 100% is a lie. But I completely agree with you, Caleb. If there were to be a quote unquote upset in the round of 16, I think Switzerland is the team because, as you said, they controlled that game against Germany on the road the entirety of that match, and then Germany got a late goal at the end. And Italy has not looked good at all. They had to get a late goal against Croatia to tie. They looked awful against Spain. I mean, that Italy goal against Croatia was in the 8th minute of stoppage time. So they are easily beatable, and I think Switzerland is definitely right for the upset. So moving on to my other gumbo topic is the Travelers Championship. Once again, Scotty Scheffler wins a tournament again.
Six tournament wins this year.
Yeah, and since Arnold Palmer before the month of July, that was in 1962 when he did that. And the craziest thing was, and I didn't think they would show this tournament live because typically when there's rain in the playing into the forecast, typically they just show tape delay coverage. much to my surprise, I cut on CBS and they're showing live coverage. Now, with this live coverage on the 18th hole, climate change just unbelievable that they did that. I was in shock what was going on. I had never seen anything like that on a golf course before. And what they accomplish? Absolutely nothing.
Of course.
And those idiots just delayed it. Is probably to CBS's liking because they had to fill an extra hour because they started so late on their coverage. But anyways, after that, Tom Kim made the 10-foot putt to take that into a playoff, and then Tom Kim hit in the bunker on the first playoff hole, got a fried egg, and then Scotty Scheffler won in regulation. So that was very exciting to watch, though, by the way. I don't know, Chris, if you caught any of that this weekend.
I didn't get a chance to catch any of that with the traveling back from the wedding.
Traveling, yeah. But that was very, very exciting to watch. And
I did see the aftermath of the protesters that you were talking about earlier. I did see that. Mm-hmm. And apparently all six of them, idiots. The six of them came from different parts of the green. So the crowd was around the green, and in 6 different places, they all went into the green, protesting climate politics, spray painting the green. And all 6 were arrested within 20 seconds. Mm-hmm. So well done on the course security and local police officers to handle that. And Scotty actually getting to, praise the police officers in this instance.
I was about to say, Scotty in his interview with
he dragged one along.
He praised the Cromwell Police Department, which is Cromwell is just a city outside of
well, Scotty, Hartford, he's been on both sides of the law, so he knows when to praise, when to protest.
He's been behind bars before. He knows what it's like.
Yeah, he's got
Happy Meal in the morning.
He's got street cred.
Yeah,
street cred now.
No, just a teardrop for Scotty there. And then one other point that I wanted to bring up, or one other sports point is, yes, this is just college baseball, but could you believe the Texas A&M baseball manager leaving the night after losing in the national championship as an A&M manager?
Consider
what he said. He's going to stay there, and this was going to be his last job. Yeah, no, you're like, well, that was horseshit.
And he got very dickish with that reporter.
He paraded it.
Yeah. It's like this kid is probably still in college that you're berating, and then you immediately walk away, and 2 hours later do exactly what you said you weren't going to do.
Yeah. Fuck him.
Dick move.
Yeah.
Dick move. Huge dick move. But at the same time, the Longhorns are getting a great coach. Great coach.
Yeah.
He's a really good coach. And if you can win, people will let your jerkness slide. But the minute you start losing, that jerkness starts getting it.
That was a very surprising series too, though, because you've got A&M winning the first game, and then Tennessee coming back in game 2 for the comeback victory, and then pretty much having this crazy play at the plate for run 6 in game 3 that allowed Tennessee to hold on. Crazy series. One of the better series in a while, I think, actually, for a World Series college baseball. But nah, A&M coach is an asshole for sure.
Well, no, but part of me was laughing my ass off the whole time.
He's got a hot daughter though, because they kept showing her because the Tennessee pitcher was her boyfriend, but she's the daughter of the A&M head coach.
I did not know that. Well, there you go.
Yeah, she had a maroon hat with the tennis her boyfriend's name on it. I think it's Bench. The pitcher from Tennessee. So she's like, I'm trying to root both sides. It's like the Kelsey's mom whenever she came out in that Chiefs Eagles one with the half jersey.
Yeah, with the half jersey. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. It's like, I like
Caleb, what topics did you want to hit?
Yeah.
I know you talked about the Euro, but you wanted to hit.
Yeah, we got a little Euro, but I want to bring it to another tournament going on. We got the Copa going on now too. Don't forget about that one, Jeff.
Man,
this is only the second time that CONFECA or the North American teams have actually joined the South American teams in the Comeka Bowl. So this is a very interesting one. Good primer for the World Cup coming in, and USA starting strong. I think against Bolivia. Pulisic had one of the better hit balls I've seen. With it curved around from about 17 feet out to make a goal. One of the goals for the U.S. team. They won 2-0. Probably should have won by a little more, but great win, I think, for Bolivia, taking on Panama, who I think they should have some vengeance in their heart since Panama kicked them out of the World Cup 2 times ago. It's going to be an interesting game. I agree. But hopefully USA can pound them too, get another at least 2-goal win. Before they go into Uruguay, because then they can guarantee themselves moving on at least. But yeah, I mean, overall, like I said, the Copa's, like you said, it's like the Euro. It's kind of going how you expect it to go a little bit. The one surprising difference right now is the fact that Venezuela just beat Mexico 1-0.
Wow.
Leaving them third currently in their Group B rankings. And also Canada is ranked above Chile right now in their Group 2, which is kind of surprising. But Canada's on the rise, I think, too. So, yeah, some good games going on in Copa. The other thing I wanted to kind of touch on just a little bit was the NBA draft going on right now. We kind of talked about it a minute ago. As you guys already alluded to, you got guys you don't really know at the first round. 2 guys from France, Zachary Reistener, then Alex Zar. Alex Zar is not the first pick. I don't know if I know, but either way. But I did want to give a little shout out to Stephen Castle going 5 to UConn. 4th to San Antonio from UConn. Then you've got Donovan Clingan going number 7. From UConn to the Portland Trailblazers.
Gotta get your UConn guys.
Gotta get my UConn guys. They're props. But yeah, a lot of the pre-draft talk was if Castle went to San Antonio, basically the rest of the league felt they were fucked. So this is gonna be interesting with Castle and Wemby possibly on that same team. Another interesting news that I want to. Well, no. Not so fast, good sir. We have found out that Dillingham was traded to your Wolves for 2 first-round picks.
What?
And 31 and 30.
What? What's going on right now?
They're one of our breaks.
What?
Yep, that happened.
I knew we'd get it with that.
What is going on?
But yeah,
what's going on?
There was a trade. We don't really know too much right now. We're still trying to pull up more information on it. We were earlier, at least. So there'll be a little more coming out later. But apparently, it seems the 31st protected and a 30th unprotected, I think, was what it was. So, I mean, San Antonio's getting interesting there. But Zach Edey, the one guy that Jeff did not think would go in the lottery. Going number 9.
I'll eat my crow. I will eat all the crow in the world.
All the crow. Yep. Nah, no worries.
I'm just looking at Rob Dillingham right now. Yeah. He's going to replace Conley.
That's probably what they're hoping. That's why they got the backup guard. But 2 first rounders for an 8 seems a little steep to me, but.
To me, it was very steep. But
and we want to give shout out to Devin Carter from Providence going 13 too. to the Sacramento Kings. So sorry he will never be heard of again, but congratulations to the Providence player.
No one will ever hear his name
why you
again.
say that?
Because he's on the Kings. Nobody gives a shit about the Kings. I mean, at least, like you said, Dalton Connect went to the Lakers, even though he was supposed to go like in the top 10 or 12 instead of 17, like we predicted. But
I'll say this: one thing about Devin Carter that's really good, and I give credit for Kalish, their head coach of Providence, is the fact that Devin Carter could actually play defense. No one in the NBA really plays defense anymore, so that'll be a fresh face in the NBA.
Yeah. Oh, I did mention one thing I forgot about in the Copa America Cup. Bolivia's team is doing surprisingly well, despite the coup that went on in their country a couple of days ago. The military trying to seize power in Bolivia. So luckily they got it straightened out. The original government's there. The military officer who led the coup has been arrested. So hopefully things calm down for Bolivia, but craziness.
But like you said, though, U.S. should have beat Bolivia more.
They should have. But like I say, I blame the coach, honestly, for that, because this is a team that wasn't together for a lot of times. He was playing a lot of different matchups throughout some of these prelims. So I blame the coach. But, yeah, that's all I've got then, I think. Pass it off to Mr. Porter with the spoon for the stirring.
Perfect. I'll take on and mix this brew. All I've got is NBA news. Draft, you already kind of took care of that right there, Caleb. So I'll go into the big trade that happened yesterday with the New York Knicks receiving Mikal Bridges from the Brooklyn Nets. The Knicks were able to get Bridges and a 2026 second-round pick, in which they sent the Nets Boban Bogdanovic 4 unprotected first-round picks in 2025, 2027, 29, and 2031. A 2025 first-round pick swap.
The Knicks are going all in with this team, including that other guy they signed, Owen Igbo.
First-round protected pick in a 2025 second-round pick, all for Mikal Bridges. They are going all in. They have put together all of the pieces of the.
Well, they feel like they put all the pieces together because they signed that other Anola guy to $212 million.
Mikal Bridges is the guy that I wanted the Mavericks to get. This, I thought he'd been the perfect third piece to add next to Irving.
I think we discussed it earlier. I agree with you. This is the one that they should have gone after, but that's also a high price.
I can tell you right now, I don't think
the Mavericks could have paid either.
One, they didn't have the draft capital to do this. And two, I wouldn't have paid this. To me, this is way too much for a guy who averaged 17 points last year on a terrible team where he should have been the best player.
And so 19 and 4-4.
He has potential, but I just no. And apparently he didn't know about the trade until it came up, and then he was excited, but he wanted to go play with his Villanova buddies. Good for them. That's fine. I will root against them.
Right.
Extremely hard.
This is
another reason to hate New York.
This is the most typical New York Met or New York is you make like a big blockbuster trade and you overspend, and then you act like you're stars in the off season, and then you get dick in return. And this is what's
they're basically the Dallas Cowboys of the NBA.
Except the Knicks haven't won anything. At least the Cowboys have 5 Super Bowls. The Knicks only have 1 finals, and they won it 55 years ago. Or 51 years ago. Phil Jackson was a player on there. I'm so sick and tired of hearing the Knicks' history of basketball. How they deserve a good team. How they've been a.
They don't deserve it.
Let's quit talking about them.
They haven't.
Let's quit talking about them. They don't deserve it. Let's quit talking about them. So the Nets, after making this trade and getting this King's ransom from Mikal Bridges, then turned around to get their picks back from Houston from the Harden trade, and they were able to switch first-round draft picks with each other. So Houston apparently was in the realm of doing this because the rumors are floating around from Wojnarowski that they are looking at trying to send a trade to Phoenix for Kevin Durant and send Durant to Houston, which to me, okay, if you feel like you're in a win now phase, which Houston didn't have a bad season last year. They didn't.
Right. But they're
he's trying to add Kevin Durant. Okay. How many wins is he going to give you? Because I can tell you right now, with the team that Houston has, and you add Kevin Durant to that team, and you're going to have to send a couple players away to be able to get him. But to get Kevin Durant added to the team, how many wins are you adding to this team? You're not adding enough to get you out of where you were. You're not in a win now mode. Do I hope this trade happens? Absolutely. I hope this happens. I hope it happens so hard because it will completely dilapidate Houston. I'm good with that. But that's what I heard. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've already said how I feel about it, so I'm not going to re-circle around to that. But the other rumor going around right now is Paul George looking to get traded to Golden State. I'm okay with that too.
Yeah.
Paul George and Golden State does not scare me. Paul George and the Clippers. No, I don't want Paul George with the Mavericks. You're overpaying for an old, long in the tooth player. No, I'm not paying for him. If somebody else wants to pay for him, especially Golden State or the Clippers, or a team that you're going to have to probably play in the playoffs, absolutely, they can overpay him because he's going to get injured or someone's going to get hurt or something. You get a couple games out of him, but you're not going to get a full series. So no.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, like I said, Klay Thompson's probably walking away from that team this offseason. And he's going to try to sign somewhere else. And maybe he tries to sign this 1 year make it or break it deal because people are like, is it the Warriors? Is it the system? Was it Steph Curry effect?
I want Klay Thompson.
As a Maverick fan, I'd take him for a 1 year make it or break it deal at veteran minimum. I would take that. I would take that risk. I'd kick the tires.
I'd even take it honestly at $10 million just for 1 year because it's going to go on and off the books.
I wouldn't give it matter, but yeah, it doesn't matter. It's a 1 year deal. I would definitely kick the tires on him, but it's got to be the right price. I'm not going to overspend. I'm not going to give him $15 million to come for 1 year to suck, which is what I think he's going to do. So I'd want to keep it all incentive based.
To me, it depends on his health. I think he's still a decent player, but the health is obviously the question mark for me.
Exactly.
Because I don't think he's played a full season in these last 3 years.
Make it incentive based and heavily incentive based it, then you dangle that carrot out in front for him to come get. Dangle that. Some people need the carrot dangled. They just do.
Yeah.
But that's all I've got. That's all I've got. We've got the Olympics coming up here soon. Olympic trials are going on right now, so if you're into that, definitely tune in. So it is enjoyable watching the different sports and seeing all these people compete at the highest level. But that's good. So unless you gentlemen have anything else here to discuss this evening, I think we're going to go ahead and
I think we got it.
Say it's closing time.
Rob Dillingham.
And it's time to shut down the bar. Jeff continues to celebrate here at the NBA draft. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us this week. We're going to get to see you again here next week as we'll talk about some different sports views, our opinions on them. And as always, please reach out to us on our social media platforms and let us know what you want to hear us talk about. And we'll bring you up and get you here on the podcast. So for Caleb Gover, for Jeff Amos, this is Chris Board. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us here on the next round, and we'll see you again next week on the next round. Cheers, gentlemen.